I need a bag, bruh. Send it through quickly. I'm making his dog like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, I told him I'ma hit it out of stands. I deserve another 100.
Welcome to another episode of the Married Game Podcast. We are the voice you trust when it comes to lust, and we are who you hire when she lacks desire. Now, in life, we understand the principle of cause and effect. But I've got to ask you, what kind of shitty behavior will you accept? Oh, it's just me today, gang. We do not have Jessie Joy in the house, or as a lot of the guys in Married Game call her, Coach Jessie. It's kind of a joy for me. We have some really amazing, close, best friends of mine. And, you know, they always like to ask Jessie questions, or even guys within the gang, within the group, within the Married Game program. Asking her questions is always fun to listen to her answer, but Jessie has got a very keen ability of talking shit to guys. It's one of her superpowers. She does it to me and I love it, and she does it to my friends, and it's quite a joy to watch her do this. So, she is not here today, and that's okay, because you got me, your boy, in studio ready to rock. So, what is the situation? There is a concept that I think might be one of the most powerful concepts that we have now landed upon in Married Game. And for those of you who don't know, obviously I coach men how to get their wives to want to have sex with them again. Am I perfect at this? No. Am I good at this? Yes. And Jessie and I have our struggles, we have our battles, and she's a piece of shit sometimes, and I'm a piece of shit sometimes. And it's usually not at the same time, but we work through our piece of shitness together because we're both human. And my ego gets in the way and her ego gets in the way, and that is probably a lot like your marriage, where we pet the snake backwards. But there are certain things that if Jessie was to do, and I was to do to Jessie, we would both look at each other and say, if you do that fucking thing again, we're going to have a real problem on our hands. What is this type of stuff? Well, maybe you've been in this experience, and what I felt like I've taught in Married Game for a while is how to handle certain situations. How do I handle it when my wife acts like this? A lot of guys will ask questions. Hey, well, my wife does this, how do I handle it? When my wife does this, how do I handle it? When my wife does this, how do I handle it? And I get those questions, and I like those questions. And I think we've got some really great answers for those questions. But as I've been thinking about it lately, I realize sometimes I'm being asked to give an answer or coach a man through how to accept bad behavior. Think about that. How to accept bad behavior. When my wife yells at me in frustration or anger or what have you, what should my response be? And in those situations, I think my answer to guys, and maybe to you listening, would shock you. And the answer is, well, don't accept that kind of behavior. Listen, you teach and train people how to treat you. If you're in a conversation with a lady, your wife, your girlfriend, your long-term boo, your side piece, whatever it is that you're in the middle of, and let's say they get up and go, I'm not going to have a conversation, but this is silly, this is ridiculous, this is oversimplistic, this is stupid. And they get up and they walk away. And they give you the silent treatment, AKA stonewalling. And you chase after them, or you start to engage in that same manner back towards them, what you are doing is you are teaching and training them that it is totally okay for them to treat you that way. And that's some bullshit. That's some straight up bullshit. Well, what should I do, Keith? Well, there's a couple of things. First and foremost, you got to understand that if your woman is treating you in a way that you would not accept from anybody else, literally nobody else could talk to you that way and you accept it, or you would sit there and take it. My question to you would be, why in the world would you accept it from your wife? Because she's your wife? See, this is where I think the lines get really blurred, and it's a real problem, and our society has pushed us down a wrong lane. We accept behavior from our spouse differently than we would expect or accept behavior from everybody else around us. I talk to a lot of business owners. I'm a hero to business dudes who are married that have kids. That's my avatar. You know how to make it rain, you got a wife, and you've got kids. Why? Because as my buddy Garrett J. White says, that's the trifecta of insanity. This is the man that's like, dude, I'm killing it at work. I'm killing it at office. I'm making it rain. I'm a high performer. I'm a high producing salesman. I run a division of a company, or I run a company and I own a company. High performer that's knows he lives at a high standard. He's not just checking in, clocking in, what are we doing? No, he's like, my pay, my compensation is based off my performance. That is a man in the true essence of saying, I want to go kill some shit. I want to hunt it. I want to fish it. I want to kill it. I want to eat it. And you've got a drive to go after this. You're ambitious. Well, you're killing it in that arena, but then you come home and you feel like you're being talked down to, disrespected, treated like a total piece of shit. And you accept it. This is the point of the story, and this is the point of today's podcast is, why are you accepting this type of behavior? Now, I'm sure if I asked your wife or I talked to your girlfriend or whoever, they might say there's some behaviors that they accept from you that they wouldn't accept from anybody else as well. So you always, in every situation, the bottom line is to clean your side of the street. You got to clean your side of the street. It's just the way it's got to be. You've got to be on your best behavior. Now, she may agree or not agree if you're on your best behavior, and I'm not talking about on your best behavior like you're hoping she thinks you're on your best behavior. I'm saying you are living at a standard that's high, that you know is high. She may not think it, but you know, based off everything around you and every other standard around you, you're living at a high standard. Because just because she agrees or doesn't agree, doesn't mean your standard's high. Worst thing that could ever happen to you is your wife gets super horny, loves sex, and you have no idea why she's into sex. In fact, she's just into the act and she's not even into you. That's a problem. And I've seen this happen with guys where their gal is just into sex and then they stop doing the 5 dials. They stop the protocol. They're still getting sex, but they're noticing there's a disconnect and things start to go awry. Well, listen, you've always got to clean your side of the street, gentlemen. That's the A1 avenue. But you also got to stop accepting the bullshit. I'm not going to teach you all these relationship gymnastics when somebody's treating you like shit. The answer for you to truly stay in your power, to keep your power, and to not give it away is to not tolerate that shit. You don't tolerate it from your clients. You don't tolerate it from your employees. You don't tolerate it from anybody else out in the world, but you're tolerating it from your wife, and that's the problem. She knows she can walk all over you. She can push you around. She can gaslight you, which means she's going to blame you for doing something that you're actually not doing, but she's really good at. We see this. It's projection. It's gaslighting. Stonewalling you, just being quiet. Critiquing you. Constant critique. Complaining. It's never good enough. Frankly, this is some bullshit. Some real fucking bullshit. And Western women have bought into this hook, line, and sinker, as if they sit back and go, let me just judge this guy. Let me just see let me pick him apart. No guy likes that. But a lot of you guys have put up with it. Rather than go, oh, yeah, no, no one's going to treat me that way. What's the solution? How do you stop this treatment? You don't buy into it. You don't grovel to try and get her back after she's been a total bitch to you. She yells at you and treats you away and throws things at you. You don't dodge it and defend it and try and make your case and make your point. You just go, oh, okay, cool. You throw another thing or yell at me one more time. I'm just letting you know that's not how this works. You don't get to be in a relationship with me if you act that way. Keith, what are you saying? I should get divorced? Well, I don't know. I'm asking you a real question. Where did you get the concept that till death do us part is actually true? I know you all quoted it at the altar in front of your pastor. For sickness and for health, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, till death do us part. Why is that a thing? Where did that come from? Where did that come from? It's almost this religious energy of endure till the end. Endure. We got to endure. Dude, who wants a relationship that they have to endure? That sounds fucking horrible. That sounds fucking horrible. I don't endure a relationship with Jessie. Do we get frustrated with each other because we're human? Yeah, but I'm not enduring a relationship with her. Sometimes we get a little off the tracks a little bit because we both have our egos, but I don't raise my voice at Jessie and yell at her. You know why? Because if she did that to me, she'd get one warning. Yo, we don't fucking yell at each other. This is a house of peace. This is a home. I'm out there doing war. When I come home, I expect peace. You know why I can expect that? Because that is the way I live. That is the standard I live at. If she came in every day and started yelling at me, I'd be like, you are disrupting the peace of my house. And because I'm not bound to this till death do us part, I'm not bound to some arbitrary men saying this is what we should be. Says who? Says who? No. Jessie gets to be in my life, and I get to be in her life as long as we treat each other with kindness, respect, love, patience, care, and all these types of things. Showing up with giver energy. So if your wife stomps out of the room, belittles you, disrespects you, guess whose fault it is if you stay? Yours. That's how you get your power back. It's not like you go and grab it back from her. No, you keep your power and go, oh, yeah, I don't let people treat me that way. I don't let people treat me that way. This is why I really, really serve business owners, because they aren't sitting around like an employee and go, my boss is such a piece of shit. Cool, then leave. Well, I can't do that. Why not? You're a free moral agent. Go about your life. It's this concept of you are letting your woman treat you in such a fucked up way, and you're asking me, how do I handle it? The way you handle it is you don't accept it. You don't put up with it, and you don't let somebody act that way to you. Plain and simple. That's it. I will not accept bullshit, disrespectful, asshole behavior in my life. I'm the leader of my life. You guys are all supporting actors. Jessie is a supporting actor in my life. And guess who is a supporting actor in hers? Me. I am not constrained to till death do us part because some pastor who's overweight, who has no self-control, and is barely getting laid within his marriage is preaching that from a pulpit on Sunday. I'm not constrained to that. I'm also not constrained to a book that was assembled hundreds and hundreds of years after the people who actually lived in it were there by a group of men who said, yep, these are the ones that we should put together. This is it. Everything else is bullshit. I'm not constrained to that either. Just because a book has been written, first of all, I don't think God's speaks only through a book or specifically through a book. My understanding of how many people have read during the lifetime of humanity, we're talking like 90 to 95% of people are illiterate over the span of humanity. So you're telling me that this infinite, beautiful, wonderful creator that made all of us so intricately and with all this organization and all this beautiful complexity is going to say, well, unless you read this book, you're fucked up. That's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm glad we have the book because we have cool stories of amazing things that God has done. But do I think he was like, you're going to have to listen to every little thing here or else you are really going to go to hell? Nah. That book doesn't have authority over my life either. I've had to set myself free from all those religious conditionings of trying to get me to be little and be small. And I'm just a worm. No, man. I am a slice and sliver of God wrapped in flesh on this earth to create. You think I'm going to spend the rest of my life letting some lady degrade me and beat me down and make me feel like I'm a piece of shit? Fuck no, I'm not. And neither should you. But you've been told you should. Endure to the end. What about the kids, Keith? You tell me. You tell me. The same reason that I was barely an employee for hardly any time ever was because I didn't want to be able to look at my kids and go, I was a pussy. I had no strength to go out on my own. The same way I look at my kids and go, hey guys, I married the wrong human being when I was influenced as a young man. I can no longer live this lie pretending that I'm in love with your mom. This was my first marriage. Married a gal I wasn't even attracted to. All because of religious believing. So I've had to break out of that box and shed those chains and to shed that bullshit skin to step into the light of freedom. And what I'm telling you is you're going to have to do the same thing as well in your life, whatever is holding you captive. And a lot of you guys use your bondage as a badge. And you want me, how do I treat this when she's acting this way? You don't accept it. You don't fucking tolerate it. The same way you don't tolerate or accept it from anybody else on planet Earth. Why would you accept it from the one who's supposed to love you and be kind to you and respect you? So the answer is you don't accept it. And you let her know. That's some bullshit behavior. I ain't cool with it. You do it again, there's going to be some consequences. Consequences meaning you're not going to get my full attention. See, men, you're after one thing. That's her hole. I get it. You want her hole so bad. You just want to have sex. You want her to want you. You want to be desired. I get it. But you know, on the exact same flip side, you know what she wants from you? Your full undivided attention. You know who gets my full undivided attention? People who treat me right. People who treat me with respect. People who treat me with love. People who actually love me. Don't belittle me, critique me, complain about every last little fucking thing. So today's message is short, probably not that sweet, but it might be sweet to your ears, and maybe it's tickling your ears in a way where you're going, fuck, I've never heard anything like this. I thought I was trapped and doomed forever, and if I even speak up for myself, people in my church will think I'm crazy. Cool. You know what the percentage of obsessed marriages is? 2% of people are obsessed with each other still. You know the percentage of happy marriages? 13%. Which means 87% of people in a long-term relationship, married or otherwise, are not happy. And you know why? It's because the man, you, have accepted behavior that is abysmal. And you're trying to figure out and asking me questions, and Keith, how am I supposed to accept this? How am I supposed to navigate around this? The answer is you're not. So stop trying. You work on you and become the best version of you. You show up with giver energy. You show up with great energy. You show up with the thing that makes people feel seen, loved, and heard. And if she can't give you that same kindness and respect in kind, then you're going to let her know that she can hit the road. The concept is called leaving is the leverage. If there is no consequence at all for her behavior and she can keep acting like an asshole to you and chipping away your confidence, chip, 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 and yet she's not adding anything to it, what are you doing? You've got the worst raw fucking deal on planet Earth. And some of you guys, you haven't been laid in a year or two. And you don't know what to do. You feel stuck. I get it. I was there. I feel that pain. And I've worked with a lot of guys that have gone through that. But let me give you an analogy that's so fucking simple, you're going to try and push it away. You ready? You sign up for a cell phone contract. You and old Verizon sit down and you ink a deal. All right, so I'm going to get some texting, I'm going to get some calling, and I'm going to get some... You got some email in there? Yeah, perfect. So text, call, email. Awesome. Check, check, check. I'll sign on that. Boom. How much dollars a month? There it is. Contract signed. Done. Imagine 3 years into your contract with Verizon, 8 years into your contract with Verizon, 12 years into your contract with Verizon, they send you a letter and go, we're just not in the mood to let you text anymore. How fast would you break up with that contract? Immediately. You wouldn't feel bad. You wouldn't have to go talk to your pastor. You wouldn't have to worry and pray and hide. And you wouldn't have to do any of that shit. You know what you'd do? You'd be like, okay, well, if that's how you want to treat your customers, go ahead. If nobody else cares about that, that's fine. But you and I agreed upon something. Now, this analogy is assuming that your side of the street is clean, which means you're showing up as a great parent. You're showing up as a great partner, best friend energy. You're showing up as a great producer, meaning you're actually providing safety for the family. You don't have to be rich. You have to take care of shit, so they don't have to worry about it. You're showing up as a player, meaning your body looks great, your clothes look great, you smell great, you actually fucking care, you take them out on dates. And then lastly, you stand in your power. And this is what I'm talking about, this stand in your power. You stop giving it away. You stop looking for validation from them. If this is the case, and she decides that I'm just not in the mood anymore, then your simple response is a couple things. But if the answer is always no, over and over and over, then you must go. And if you don't have the ball sack or the backbone to be able to do that, then the suffering that you're enduring is what you deserve. Don't be a nerd. Spread the word. Keep crushing it, because that shit is contagious. Head to marriedgame.com. We'll show you how.